lot of people ask me, they'll call up and say, I have sulfur, which is the rotten egg odor, in my well water, and I have iron too. What's a good solution for that? Well, the 2510 AIO Katalox Light system removes up to 30 parts per million of iron, 15 parts per million of manganese, which is a stainer-like iron, and 10 parts per million of sulfur. So one system can take care of all three. A lot of people ask, why do I have iron? Why do I have sulfur in my well water? Well, the simplest way to explain it is in your aquifer, if you have iron-bearing rock and you have acid water passing through, it breaks down the rock and leaches the iron into the well water, which is in your aquifer. Same with the sulfur in the water. Usually sulfur is from decaying vegetation in the water and it creates that rotten egg odor. That's the simplest way to explain it, other than you can go online and Google it and get a better answer. A lot of people ask, how can I tell if I have iron and sulfur in my water? Well, sulfur has an odor. It smells like rotten eggs, and high levels I've been in houses where the level's so high, it was unbearable. You couldn't even breathe. And as far as iron goes, you're going to see the reddish orange stain in your toilets, your shower, your tub, your sidewalk if you use a sprinkler in the summertime. A lot of people ask, why does my water smell like rotten eggs? And the reason being is you have sulfur in the water. Sometimes, in rare occasions, it can be from your hot water heater. The anode rod in your hot water heater can cause a sulfur odor. So is it on the cold water side, or is it on the hot water side, or is it on both? If it's just on the hot water side, a lot of times it's the hot water heater, you can remove the anode rod. If you smell it strongly on the cold water side, it's coming from the well, and sulfur is usually a result of decaying vegetation underground, which causes that sulfur odor, and it's fairly easy to remove with our 2510 Katalox Light system. Now, some people will ask me, they'll call up and say, I bought a sulfur filter from ABC company and it worked for a while, and now the sulfur smell is a lot worse than it ever was before. And what happens is, a lot of times when you have an extremely high level of sulfur and you use a product like activated carbon, it works for a while, but carbon absorbs the sulfur, pulls it out of the water, and once it gets to a point where it becomes exhausted, which can happen quickly when it's a high level, it starts to put it back or impart it back into the water. So the smell can actually be worse than it ever was before because you used the wrong filter. A lot of customers will call me and say, I have iron and sulfur in my water. Can I just get away with using one tank because I really can't afford two, or I don't have the room for two tanks in a row? And yes, the Katalox Light system, the 2510 AIO with air injection, can remove sulfur, manganese, and iron all at the same time through one system, and it does it flawlessly. A lot of people ask, is the sulfur in my water going to affect the iron removal? And a lot of times it can. If you're using, say, carbon to remove sulfur, it's going to try to remove the iron too, and it's going to shorten the life of carbon. If you're using a water softener to remove iron itself, it's not going to remove the sulfur. The sulfur's still going to be there. And that's why we always recommend the 2510 Katalox Light system, because it can remove iron, sulfur, and manganese all through one tank, and it does it effortlessly. A lot of companies will recommend an oxidizing system to remove iron from the water. They'll either precipitate it out with chlorine or hydrogen peroxide injection, or they use air injection, which is fine. It works, it does a decent job, but it can only handle certain levels of iron and sulfur in the water. And that's why we eliminated all of our other iron and sulfur filtration equipment and specifically sell the 2510 AIO Katalox Light system, because it can remove high levels of iron up to 30 parts per million, sulfur up to 10 parts per million, and manganese up to 15 parts per million, which is phenomenal, and it does a great job. I get calls all the time and people said, you know, the company in my area recommended chemical injection to remove iron and sulfur, and that's fine if that's the way that they treat it. We don't recommend using injection for any type of filtration or to treat any type of problem with the water. One, because it's labor intensive. Two, it's easy to forget about. And chemical injection is something you have to service on a monthly basis. You have to go down and fill the hopper with water. You have to add the chemical to the water. And it's an ongoing cost. Whereas with the 2510 AIO, you put that in, there's no annual maintenance, and you don't have to do anything for the next 6 to 8 years. In order to correctly remove iron and sulfur from the well water, you typically want a pH level of 8 on the pH scale. If the water is acidic, the system's only going to work for a short period of time, and then you're going to start getting iron bleed through again, as well as the sulfur. As far as fixing an iron problem in your well water and having it taken care of for a long period of time, you know, in the 32 years that I've been doing water filtration, we've tried a multitude of different iron filtration products: Greensand, carbon, Birm, Philox, Pyverlox, all those different types of products, and they worked well to a certain degree. But when the Katalox Light became available, that just blew everybody else out of the water. That removes iron, sulfur, and manganese without fail. I mean, you put it in, you set it, forget it, and you don't have to worry about it for the next 6 to 8 years. The biggest mistake I see homeowners make as far as iron removal is they'll go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get one of the softeners they have in stock, which are typically too small, don't have the backwash power to clean the bed with optimization, and it just doesn't work. It might work for a little bit, a short period of time, and then it starts to fail. If you want a good iron filtration system, you come to a company like us or a professional water treatment company. You don't go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy a teeny tiny little water softener and expect it to remove iron from the water. That's the biggest mistake, and it's going to cost you more money because you're going to have to eliminate that system and buy a system that can handle the problem efficiently and effectively. The cost varies as far as treating iron and sulfur in the water. The cost is going to vary. If you look online, you get anywhere from $900 up to $5,000. If you call your local water treatment company, you're looking at $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 for a treatment system installed. Our Katalox Light 2510 2.5 cubic foot system is what we sell and recommend the most. It's $21.95 shipped to you, and you have tech support from me 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I spent 28 years in the field, and I can help you with any installation problem you might encounter. As far as maintenance goes, other systems may require annual or biannual maintenance. With our 2510 AIO Katalox Light system, it only requires maintenance every 6 to 8 years. And all you have to do is you take the tank outside during the summer months when it's warm, dump it out, discard the media, and replenish the Katalox Light, and you're ready for another 6 to 8 years. The number one thing you need to do before purchasing any type of water treatment system is get an accurate water analysis. And I know a lot of you go to Lowe's and Home Depot, and those tests are fairly accurate and do a good job, but a lot of times people get confused about the color grading and what they're really seeing. The best thing to do is call a local water testing lab in your area and let them know what you want to get tested. The number one thing in deciding what type of iron filter to get is you want to talk to different companies. You want to have somebody come out, test your water, get an idea what the iron system is going to cost and the sulfur system is going to cost, and then check online. You want to get 3 different estimates typically. Usually we used to recommend, I would tell people, go call Culligan and see what they want to charge you, and then come back to me and we'll talk about it. There's a multitude of online companies now, and most of them, unlike us, don't have the field experience as far as installation, service, and treating the specific problems such as iron and sulfur. I had 32 years experience in the industry, and I spent 28 years in the field doing installations and service on all types of equipment, including Culligan, Echo Water, and Rainsoft. So I know all about that equipment as well. Again, if it was me and I had an iron and sulfur problem in my own house, if I lived on a well, basically what I'm going to install is I'm going to test the water first, find out exactly what the levels are in my water of iron and sulfur, check the pH because that's important. I want a pH around 8 when I'm treating both of those. And I'm going to put a big blue in first, 20-inch big blue to take out the small particles. I'm going to put the 2510 AIO 2.5 cubic foot Katalox Light next, and a large 64,000 grain softener. And then I want to clean up the water. I want good clean water throughout the house. So I'm going to put a 2.5 cubic foot non-backwashing carbon filter after the softener. And to top it all off, because I'm a weirdo when it comes to water treatment and I don't want any germs or anything in the water or microorganisms, bacteria, fecal bacteria, any of that stuff, I'm going to mount a Vicua 410, VH410 on the wall UV light system to kill any microorganisms in the water. So if you want more information or want to check out our equipment, you can go to our website, which is www.midatlanticwater.net. You can call the 1-800 number, 800-460-5810. We have online chat on our website. Or if you really want to talk to me, you can text or call me at 443-277-2204.